Well, this is Niswander. One of these days I'll do Facebook Live, but not today. I do want to ask you again, do you have enough to eat? Do you have a roof over your head? Clean clothes to wear? Because those are the most important questions I will ever ask anybody that I talk to, whether I've known you for a long time or just met you. Because that's the most important. And anything else is just really secondary or even less than that. Because it really is about all of us being here together and not just most of the benefits going to a very small group of people. And that's the reality of it. A few people might think that it's negative to focus on stuff like this, but to me negative is being in denial of what we do know are facts, and that's negativity. So not being in denial is actually something hopeful and optimistic, because at least it indicates some degree of enlightenment once you are educated about certain things, which is an ongoing process too in many ways. Then enlightenment should lead you to engagement, to realize that you should get more involved. I mean, you're proactive in your life with your family or your business or whatever the case may be. So why wouldn't you also in your civic duties remember, you can do more than just vote. There's a lot that you can do. You can help organize, you can raise awareness, you can connect with other like-minded people, and there's a lot of things that you can do. Bernie Sanders saw that you could do public fundraising and canvassing and all that kind of stuff, and draw attention to the many causes, and that he drew attention to during the course of his campaign during the primaries in 2015, 2016. So there's a lot that you can do. Again, I focus on short-term, long-term solutions, and you're going to hear this over and over again. One of the big ones is universal basic income, which there are some problems with it. Some people disagree that is a solution, but cash in hand, if you go back to the bailouts of 2008, I was just watching Inside Job again last night. I saw it for the first time since I watched it, I think, actually at City Hall during Occupy Los Angeles, so that was 2011. And it looks like we're looking at the current day. Nothing new has happened. You see some of the players that and the breakdown of how the economic downturn, the economic crash technically happened, and many of us have not recovered. It has not happened. That was almost 10 years ago, almost a decade. And you see some of the people, some of the players in this movie, their attitude, how they answer questions. Many wouldn't even talk, wouldn't even grant interviews to the filmmaker. I mean, it makes perfect sense that just watching that film alone, you should pay attention to what's going on. That's the reality of what's going on around us. And another series that you might want to catch up on if you want some history, where there was a lot of fact-checking going on before it was released on Showtime. Oliver Stone's Untold History of the United States. A lot of stuff you can learn from that. I'll put a video here that you can link to watch about one of the subject matters in that series that's very important. It was left out a lot of classroom teaching. I know when I was growing up, and my generation, we did not even know this person existed. Henry Wallace, 1944. Put that video up for you, a clip from the Nowman Show in 2016. Other short-term solutions, well, there's there's ways to, getting cash into people's hands, not just Social Security, not just unemployment insurance, not just disability insurance, et cetera. The safety nets that we do have need to stay in place. This is an additional thing. And people say, well, we can't do that. There's too much bureaucracy. Well, what do you call the bailouts of 2008? Going back to the inside job. If Bush and Obama had given the American people, let's say $30,000 instead of bailing out the banks, watch the Inside Job movie and get back to me, and then you think, could have been a lot. The outcomes could have been a lot different for the economy and for you and me. So we can deal with bureaucracy, but we just have to be engaged, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video. You can't just say, well, bureaucracy is a problem, we got to figure out how to do it. That's right, we do have to figure out how to move forward with that, but that doesn't mean that we stop from moving forward right now and actually getting it done, putting pressure on the bureaucracy to make sure that that money in people's hands helps those who really need it first, because it's going to trickle up on people, put the money back into the economy. So we just need to make sure that we put pressure on the bureaucracy that they can't make additional money from people to where they have to owe it and pay it back, or something crazy like that, which does happen in this system when you give people benefits. There's a lot of just bureaucratic corruption and dysfunction, and not being in denial of that is actually hopeful. I know there's a lot that I said in this video still to sort it out, and it's an ongoing to be continued conversation. The long-term solutions do include worker cooperatives. They do include the creating public banks and community banks, and more that focus on community economies and not global economies so much. It also involves the single payer, which we have in this country we call Medicare for All, which, by the way, some people are getting that. Why shouldn't everyone get that? We can afford it. We can't afford an overinflated military, and along with that, overinflated egos, which are a big problem here in the United States. So that's a lot to cover, but I'm going to repeat it over and over again until you say to me, Dan, I get it. What can I do? Because that's what we're here to do. Watch the Nowman Show on the Arroyo channel, also the Nowman Show, 2 different channels on YouTube, and a website is coming soon, and maybe multiple websites coming soon. Have a great day. I love you.